Hey guys, so today's video I am going to be taking some quizzes to find out what my aesthetic is. I used to do quiz videos on my channel all the time and I really want to start doing them again because I genuinely love taking quizzes. I think they are the stupidest things ever, but they are really fun because of how stupid they are. Some of the questions are absolutely awful, but they're still really fun to do. I was trying to figure out what quiz to do for the first video back into this, and I felt like the first video I wanted to do was one where I find out what my aesthetic is, because I feel like that's a really simple kind of entryway, and it's actually one that I don't think I've really ever done one on, but I do remember I did one video where I actually did a quiz on like what's my aesthetic, and it was from the WikiHow articles. I did a whole video talking about how WikiHow does quizzes, and I did one saying what my aesthetic is, and
it told me it was Y2K, and I said that was wrong. My aesthetic is, I was like, cottagecore, and I ended up redoing it all again, and
yeah. So I wanted to do a full video of me doing two quizzes. One obviously from Buzzfeed, because Buzzfeed is the home of quizzes, and the second one I think is from Quote, if I remember that's what it's called. And basically I'm going to be finding out what my aesthetic is. I have a pretty big feeling my aesthetic is cottagecore. I would like to believe my aesthetic is either cottagecore or naturecore, and I think that's what I'm kind of hoping to get, is one of those two. If you don't know what an aesthetic is, Google kind of gives you a summary, and it says a cohesive set of principles, style, or visual, auditory, and sensory qualities that define a particular look, art, form, or taste. So with aesthetics, there's different types of ones. There's like cottagecore, there's fairycore, naturecore, which is, I think naturecore is like the umbrella one, and then there's like cottagecore, fairycore, forestcore, and like goblincore, and all that kind of stuff. And I really like forestcore, and I like cottagecore. I definitely think I'm more of a nature core because I kind of dabble into every one of them. You know how there's those like what are they called, those circle diagrams you can get? I think that's what they're called. But there's like those circles, there's three of them, and they kind of overlap. I feel like for me, like in cottagecore, all the different aesthetics and cores kind of overlap, and I feel like I can grab little bits of each of them. And it's on my laptop, by the way, because I actually tried to look at some of the quizzes on my phone, and I don't know what is going on with Buzzfeed. Not too sure. But basically what's happened is, I tried to look at the quizzes on Buzzfeed, and just a bunch of pop-up ads came up on my phone, to the point where I actually couldn't even see the screen. So I'm doing it on my laptop. I'm going to start off with the Buzzfeed quiz, because obviously we have to start off with the Buzzfeed quiz. That just makes the most amount of sense. And this quiz is called, you might know your outer aesthetic, but what is your inner aesthetic? I would have to say it's most likely still cottagecore. How would your friends describe you to someone you've never met? Right, so we're just getting straight into this. Yep. So the options are creative, playful, confident, simple, friendly, or serious. I don't think my friends would describe me as serious. I feel like when I first meet people, I'm very reserved and shy, but then as I get to know people, I kind of come out of my shell a lot. But I would have to say, if I'm going to take a guess, it's going to be friendly, because I don't think I've ever not been friendly to anyone when I first meet them. I'm always pretty chill. Which of these do you value most in your life? Memories, freedom, fame, or kindness? I'm going to say memories, freedom, fame, kindness, individuality, and friendship. I'm going to say kindness. I value that the most because that's what we need in the world right now. Which of the following is your ideal date location? I haven't thought about where I would want to go for a date in so long. I haven't even thought about the idea of me going on a date. Okay, an art museum, a park, an arcade, a theme park, a rooftop, or a movie theatre. I don't know. I guess a park?
I don't even know what the idea of dating and doing that, and I'm overstimulated just thinking about the idea of having to go on a date.
I guess I would like a park. I feel like that would be nice, just being outside with that person, just chilling out, you know, like being outside. I like the idea of being able to do something and be able to talk to that person while we're on a date. So I guess like an arcade would be really good, because I like the idea of us being able to do something and still chat while we're doing like games and stuff, like going mini golfing or something like that where we can chat as we mini golf. I don't know, but I'd say a park because I like being outside. There's a dead spider on my desk, I love that. Which of the movie genres is your favourite? Okay, another question I don't know the answer to. Romance, horror, fantasy, coming of age, comedy, or animated Disney? Oh, that's hard. I don't know. Coming of age is a good. Horror? I don't know. Alright, I have to think about this as like, what are my favorite movies? I like Labyrinth, so I guess that would be like fantasy and coming of age. That would be kind of both. What's another movie? I like Jurassic Park, so that would be horror. I don't know. I guess fantasy, because I do like the Lord of the Rings movies, so fantasy. I don't know. I haven't thought about that in a while. Alright, which of these would you rather be complimented on? My personality, my cooking, my intelligence, my style, my taste in music, and my humour. I actually do get complimented on my humour a lot. People are like, you're so funny, and I'm like, ha 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 ha. Ha ha, it's the trauma. My style, I don't really care if people compliment about how I dress. My intelligence, I don't really like people telling me that I'm smart. I don't know if I would want that. My taste in music, I don't like telling people, I don't like sharing my taste in music. I'm very weird about that. Because my music taste right now is so mixed. Like I have like emo music, and then like old 80s music, and then I have current hits. It's a mixed bag, so honestly. My personality, I don't know. My cooking, I don't like cooking for other people. I barely like cooking for myself. My intelligence, my style. I guess my personality, that would be nice. Just, I like being told if I'm a good person or not. Which of these art pieces speak to you the most? I'll take a screenshot and I'll put it in. I am... Why am I using this? I'm gonna have to say the flowers in the fence. I love a good, like, I love those kinds of artwork. They're my favourite. Which of these music genres do you enjoy the most? Oh, damn it. Okay, folk, hip hop, pop, rock, classical, or indie? I guess pop? I don't know. This is a problem again with my music taste. It's so mixed that I like a lot of different music, so I can't say what my favourite is. I'll say pop. I do like a good beat. Alright. Which of these gifts would you be most touched to receive? Okay. A tin of baked goods, a plane ticket. I've actually had both of those. A personalised scavenger hunt. That might piss me off, depending on who's done it. A signed copy of your favourite book. not really. A bouquet of your favourite flowers, a new luxury car. I'm going to say a bouquet of my favourite flowers. I've actually never been given a bouquet. I think I've been given a bouquet once or twice in my life, and I just feel like I should be given more bouquets. Because I like flowers. I really do. I bought myself a bouquet of lilies once, and my dad was like, why? And I was like, because I like lilies. Roses are one of my favourite flowers, but they're my birth month flower, but I love lilies because my granny would always have lilies in her home in Scotland, and anytime I smell lilies, I think of my granny and I think of Scotland. Which of these images makes you feel the most at home? I see a forest. I am seeing a forest. I think we know what the answer is going to be, mate. I think we already know. There's a forest. Someone making something with apples. There's a gaming setup. A festival. A record store. A giant library. That library looks insane. That looks like a Harry Potter library. I'm going to have to say the forest. I love forest. I think trees are beautiful. I'm infatuated with trees. I love trees. Every time I say I love trees, I think of that scene in, is it The News Anchor? Where he's like, I love lamp. I love lamp.
I love lamp. Do you really love the lamp, or are you just saying it because you saw it?
I love lamp. I love lamp.
I'm going to have to say the forest, but the baking one and the library are a close second. I do love a good, I mean, if you gave me a cottage, then I would pick that, and then I would pick like the baking, and I do love a good library. I haven't been to a library in so long, like a proper, like, big library. I haven't been to one of those in a while. Which of these supernatural creatures would you rather be? A fairy, a dragon, a vampire, a mermaid, a zombie, or an alien? I'm gonna say a fairy.
She was a fairy.
I have to say fairy because I would get to live in the tweeds and I would get to live in a little mushroom house. If I had to pick next, probably a vampire. Don't ask me why. I think vampires are kind of neat. The whole idea of vampires is kind of interesting. Like, I want to know who came up with that. Like, why does that exist? Which of these characteristics do you find most annoying in other people? Being boring, being impatient, being ignorant, being dependent, being a follower, and being defensive. I have to pick just one. Being boring. That's not, like, the thing is, sometimes people could be boring, but they can't, they're not always bad. I guess, what characteristics do you find the most annoying? Being boring isn't always bad. I can be boring to some people. Like, my personality is very, very boring. Being impatient, that is annoying. Being ignorant is probably going to be the one I'm going to pick. Because I think the thing is, I think in this current world, we can't always be ignorant. We can't be ignorant in this day and age. What is your favourite kind of weather? I actually really don't know. I never really thought about my favourite kind of weather. Snow. I have had the snow before. I am not doing a lightning storm. Lightning storms? Absolutely not. Fun fact, I have a phobia of sudden loud noises, and I hate thunderstorms because when you see lightning, you don't know how loud the thunder's going to be, you don't know how far away it is, you don't know how soon after the lightning you're going to hear it. I hate thunderstorms. They freak me out so much. I've gotten so much better at them, but I don't like sudden loud noises. I get spooked very quickly. Clear and sunny, rain, cool and breezy, and fog. I'm gonna say cool and breezy, but I do like rain. I do love a rainy day. I do, but the thing is, there's a difference between, like, I love where I live because we have such beautiful sunny days, but I love when it rains. But I was saying this to my dad, if we lived somewhere like Scotland or England or anywhere in the UK, it would be a completely different story. I would probably hate rain because I'm like, damn, it rained 2 days in a row kind of thing. Like, we do have that here where I live, but I feel like it would just be so gloomy and it might be a different story. But I think for me, I would pick cool and breezy because I like the cool weather. I've said this before, I'll say it again, I'm a winter baby. I do not thrive in this hot weather. I am not meant for the hot, I am meant for the cold. Alright, if you could live in any of these places, which one would you pick? Ooh. Alright, an abandoned castle taken over by plants. One of my favorite, I don't know if it's an aesthetic, I don't know if it counts as an aesthetic, but one of my favorite things is when nature reclaims like infrastructure and buildings and items from where it once lied. Like, I love, like, when you see like grass coming through the cracks of a path, or when you see like those old railway tracks and there's like plants growing around it, like, kind of like, I think it's a big thing in the Last of Us video games and TV series, but I love when you see a building and it has plants just I love it. It's like one of my favorite things. It brings me so much joy just seeing nature reclaim what it once had. A tiny mushroom cottage in the woods. I love me a tiny cottage. I would have to say my whole like cottagecore aesthetic definitely started from reading those like fairy books. I think it's Shirley Barber. We had the fairies, we had the mermaids, and one year someone gave me a notebook of Shirley Barber, and every second page it would have some of her artwork. And one of my favourite bits of artwork I absolutely loved was the one of the bunny rabbit with the pumpkins. I loved her artwork so much because it would show like these people living in trees, and I always loved the idea of that. I always loved it. It just brought me so much like happiness, the idea of doing that. So I would love a tiny mushroom cottage in the woods. If it's in Shirley Barber's, I want to live in Shirley Barber world. That's like, the thing is, I do like cottagecore, but I'm not a fairy core girl because I'm not big like a big fairy girl, but I do love a lot of fairy core things. I just wouldn't put wings on and dress like a fairy. Like, you'll see me living in a cottage in the middle of nowhere, in a forest. I want to be the old hag in the woods when I get older. A high-rise apartment at the bottom of the ocean, inside a giant Halloween town jack-o'-lantern, a faraway city where all the residents are magical, and a bouncy house on top of a fluffy castle. It's so specific. An abandoned castle. I don't want to live in an abandoned castle because that sounds kind of sad. Like, that sounds like it would be very dark. And yes, it would be taken over by plants, but I feel like it would be so empty and sad and isolating. So I would have to say a tiny mushroom cottage in the woods because I love the idea of it being like a Shirley Barber cottage in the woods kind of thing. Like, I love the woods. I love the forest. I love trees. I don't even think we need to do the quiz. I think we know what my aesthetic is. If you were a cookie flavour, what would you be? That is a really important question, and I would like to know the options. Chocolate chip cookie, strawberry jam cookie, red velvet cookie, confetti cookie, snickerdoodle, and oatmeal raisin cookie. Here's the thing. I haven't ever had a snickerdoodle. Sorry. I have had red velvet cake, but not cookies. I've never had a confetti cookie and an oatmeal raisin cookie. I've had an oatmeal raisin muffin. That was actually kind of good. My dad puts like banana in it and stuff, so it's like a banana raisin muffin. I'm gonna say a strawberry jam cookie because when I was growing up, I have this one distinct memory. My mum, and no, it's not the same, but I'm gonna pick it because it's similar. My mom would make jammy dodger cookies when I was a kid, and I want to do a video where I make them because I made them a while ago and I love them. And every time I see a jammy dodger, I think of my mom because I have this very distinct memory of seeing her make them. And I know that strawberry jam cookies are not the same, but it kind of is because it's a cookie with jam in it. Right, and finally, if you were living in a movie, what character would you want to be? The protagonist? The protagonist, the villain, the funny best friend, the love interest, the sarcastic older sibling, and the mentor. Can I be the love interest? I'm gonna say, I don't want to be the funny best friend because it's always that they're the funny best friend and that they just have to watch their best friend find their love, but they're funny and that's the whole thing. I want to be the love interest. I don't want to be some side piece. Hey, cottage core! We literally have a quiz for everything. I know, you've been around for yonks. You're a nature lover with a taste for the simple things in life. I truly am. Truly am. You pick a calm, quaint life somewhere with lots of trees and gorgeous flowers over living a big city any day. Yes! Yes, Buzzfeed, you know your girl. You're a naturally nurturing person with a big heart and a bright spirit. Bright spirit. I might have to, I'll get back to you on the bright spirit part, but I agree with everything else. Alright, so that is all the quizzes I'm going to be doing. I guess I am cottagecore, and I guess I am also kawaii. I don't think I've said that since high school. So, that's a fun thing to end on. I hope you guys like this video. I definitely want to do more quiz videos in the future. I love doing them. I think they're really fun and they just kind of give me a bit of a laugh and cheer me up. So hopefully you guys like this video, and if you did, give it a big old thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time I film another one.